talking to me? You have the nerve to tell me that I shouldn't avoid people? Well, I don't see anyone else around, so you must be talking to me. I don't think so, pal. Let me tell you what I think. Friends, Bryan here for the Life of Bryan show. How are you guys doing? This is going to be a little bit of a different video for you guys. You guys know me as the guy who avoids people, and of course, a lot of other people chimed in around the world after that video. A lot of people even made videos about how they avoid people too. Now, apparently, there's someone out there who made a video saying that I shouldn't avoid people. So we are going to check this video out, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So, here we go.
I am 52 and I try not to avoid people.
I've seen this guy before. He had a video that came out some time ago. I think he was trying to explain to women why a lot of men now just don't want to be in relationships, all that other stuff. I've touched on that in other videos, but there is a movement going on called the MGTOW movement. And I won't spend too much time talking about it today. But I know for me, you guys know my story. I'd been in some relationships before in my life, but more recently, from 2018 to 2020, I was in a very bad relationship with someone who had a very bad personality disorder. And I got out of that. It took some time to myself. And then when I started dating again, one of the things that drove me nuts, and I said this, ladies, is, and I don't know if women as they get older, they feel the need to apply more pressure, but geez, you can't even go out and just have lunch or a green tea with somebody just saying, can we just like meet, say hello, talk a little bit, like without the pressure relationship, come on. And so after a while of that, I'm like, man, I'm done. But I lucked out. I met a very good woman at the very end of that. Story for another day. But let's get back to what he has to say here about why you shouldn't avoid people. Educate me. And his name is...
This is
Bjorn
why.
Bull-Hansen. Okay?
This video is meant as a comment to those videos, and they're all called I'm 50-something or 60-something, and I avoid people.
I take responsibility for that. I think his name is Bjorn. And it amazes me, one thing that has always amazed me about a lot of European countries or Scandinavian countries, it's like they can speak English better than we can. It's really weird in a cool way. I'd love to go over there and visit.
This is why. And I think it's not a good idea, especially if you're a man, middle-aged man, to avoid people. I think it's actually a very bad idea. I do not intend to disrespect the people who have made those videos.
No disrespect taken. We live in a world where people just aren't allowed to agree to disagree anymore, so as long as people are nice, that doesn't come across as a personal attack, we're all allowed to have our own opinion on things. But I have a big feeling that he and I are going to have some big disagreements on some stuff here.
And I will talk a little bit about that impulse or that need to kind of, to be on your own, and that you can't tolerate the drama anymore. I'll talk a little bit about that. But first, I will say that especially as you get older, you need people. You need the social interaction to stay healthy and young. That's been scientifically proven. And women are much better at that than men. And men, especially men my age, they tend to isolate themselves. And they will say that, oh, I'm a tough lone wolf, I need nobody, and so on and so on.
I am pretty tough, Bjorn. I gotta tell you that, pal.
But there might come a day when you wish that you had someone there, that you had a community.
I have a community. You guys are my community.
We are, as humans, we are pack animals. We're not solitary animals. And while being on your own and being independent and all of that, it's good, it's great, but it's not it shouldn't be like that all of the time. We need people. And when times get difficult, when you struggle, it's good to have a community. It's good to have some people that you can talk to. And that can be, you know, if you do a sport, you know, the guys at the gym, typically, you know, the guys at the gym, and you talk to the guys at the gym, and you know, that's your community. And
dude, let me tell you something, okay? I have been no stranger to lifting. I had a period of my life, especially in my mid to late 40s. I had a bit of a following on social media. I was sponsored by different companies. I did some competing. I qualified for Canadian Nationals in 2019. Due to the tremendous amount of stress and BS I was in my relationship, I couldn't train for Canadian Nationals. The gym is a funny thing, okay? And I'm going to be completely honest and tell you guys something here, okay? When you go to a gym, there's the best of the best people and there's the lowest of the low. And I've seen both. In my powerlifting days, I met some wonderful people, but I've also met some really bad people. You know, a lot of things too, same with bodybuilding, even sometimes with MMA or different martial arts. So why do people get into those? Often because there's insecurities. And some people, it builds them up. They feel better about themselves and they're comfortable with themselves. They're secure. Other people always have that little boy or little girl who's scared inside them all the time. And I have seen in the powerlifting circles, I've met many wonderful people, but I've seen a lot of bad. I've seen a lot of narcissistic people, narcissistic coaches, ripping their own team members down behind their back, trying to sleep with other their members' partners. I've seen a lot of people who are friends to each other's face to face, but then tear them down to people behind their back. And you know, for me, I've seen too much of it. In fact, you guys know the story. Over 10 years ago, I tried to help out a couple who had a little gym, and it was the worst mistake of my life. It pulled me into a fraudulent lawsuit, tens of thousands of dollars damages. I've been to gyms where, you know, I've had some people come up to me saying, hey, you know, can you lend me some money so I can get some groceries or give me a ride or whatever? And you help people out a little bit and then it never stops and it's escalating. So I've seen the worst of worst in gyms. I've seen the best of the best in gyms too. But for me, I don't like people screwing with my workouts. If you ever want to see me lose my temper, I just like to go and work out. My partner and I, we go to a very small community gym. We go at a certain time where there's really no one there. And I have no qualms telling people, I'm working out, I can't talk today. I don't go to the gym to make friends anymore. I've seen enough bullshit. So in my opinion, I have a polar opposite stance of him. I don't need to go to the gym and have a community. And I've helped out a lot of people at my time in gyms. And I'm not out to make friends. I do it for my health now, not my ego. And so I see things very differently than him.
It doesn't have to be, you know, deep conversations, but you have someone there that you can have that human interaction with. And also, by the way, it's extremely important for especially men to have someone to talk to who is not a woman. that male community, that male what's the word? Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah, I think it's very healthy. Now, okay, so why do people make those videos? Why do men?
I have a few pals, acquaintances. We'll get together a couple of times a year, but for the most part, we just leave each other alone. We're not texting every day. And that's how I like it. You know, and I said in a video, it's kind of funny. I was sick. I had a bad flu and a lung infection a month or so ago. And I made this kind of harmless video out. I was trying to clear the snow. We had another bad storm here. We had another bad storm this weekend. We're almost in April here in Canada. And I was just talking about, you know, I tried to reach out to some old friends of mine and wasn't really getting acknowledged, or it was just but I also realized that friendships change as we get older. The way you are with your friends and friendships when you're 40 than when you're in your 50s, it's different. And I'm sure if I make it into my 60s, it'll be different, right? We tend to put a lot of value, like, oh, well, this person was my best friend in high school. And then, well, my best friend in high school, I kind of realized a long time ago that it just wasn't going to be that, or we carried on to be buddies as we went on as adults, and I've even told him in person, a few years back, he's another male friend that's in a very disordered relationship. And I told him, I said, look, I can't be your friend if you're going to have someone, if you're with someone who's trying to bring drama into my life too. I'm just not doing it. I've done my time with crazy women, folks. I really have. Things change, man. Things change. But, yes, I have a partner. I have a dog. I've got, a few family members that I keep in touch with. I keep in touch with my family. I have a few pals, maybe a couple of gym bros that, I might grab one workout a year with them, but no more than that. And that's okay. And I'm sure they're okay with it too.
And my age say that in my case, I'm 52. I avoid people now. This is why. Basically, because you just had enough of the drama. You don't have you kind of stop trying to please people. You're happy in your own company, and also, you get sick and tired of the whole nonsense out there, and you just want to spend time on your own, like out in the woods, for instance. Now, I'm a novelist.
I also want to point out here, guys, because he's not contradicting himself, but he's just giving really good reasons why people our age want to be left alone and just enjoy whatever life we have. I also want to point this out, and I don't mean it as a criticism, but Bjorn, he's a YouTuber. So he's looking at this going, all these people are putting out videos of, I'm such and such an age, I avoid people. Well, if I did put out a video talking about the opposite, I'm such and such an age, I shouldn't, or I don't avoid people, he knows that people are going to come and watch. And that's fine. That's part of what makes the big YouTube wheel go round, right? So he's a very, very smart man, okay? And he had a video some time ago that I saw where he talks about why a lot of men just don't want to be involved in relationships with women anymore. And I've seen a lot of videos where, women are talking about going like, I can't find a man. Like, I want to get married. I want to have kids. What's going on? There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. But it was quite a good video, if I remember correctly.
I've been a novelist my entire adult life. I've never had colleagues, and I think very, very few people out there has been alone as much as I have. But I have come to realize that it is important to have people. It's healthy.
But what does that mean? Important to have people. So for me, a few people in my very inner circle, keep in touch with family. I got a few buddies that, but what does that mean? It's not that I want to have an open door policy here and people can come in and, take my supplements and drink my protein powder and eat my lunch. No, so what does that mean? It's important for people to have people. Yes. I said, a month or so ago, I got very sick. Well, of course, I had to go to the hospital, and I'm thankful for the people there. Yes, we need people. I get it. But, what context are we talking about here? Are you saying that we have to be socialites and going out to functions every night of the week and going out every weekend and mingling with people? What does that mean?
And yes, at times it's tempting to, just stay at home, just to be in your own company. It's tempting, and it's because it doesn't demand anything of you.
You know what I love about this guy? He's saying this, but he's walking by himself in the woods. If he had a couple of friends with him, I'm not telling Bjorn how to do, his channel is much bigger than mine. I'm not telling him how to do a video, but if he had a few friends with him walking, I don't know, it just might have had more of an effect for the video maybe. I don't know.
And you're tired of all the nonsense out there. You're tired of people.
He's making a good argument for why we all want to be left alone and avoid people. Whose side are you on, Bjorn? You're either with us or you're against us.
I get it. But I still think that all those videos out there on YouTube, you know, I'm 50, 60 something, and I avoid people now. This is why I think that they should kind of be called something like, I shouldn't avoid people. This is why. If you get what I'm saying here.
No, I don't, Bjorn. I totally disagree.
Yeah.
He has a Patreon, folks. May hell rain down upon him like it did me. I got rid of my Patreon. Oh my God. So hopefully he doesn't start losing subscribers over that.
So that's basically what I wanted to say. It's a simple message. We need people.
I'm not disagreeing that we don't need some people, right?
And especially as we get older. And there is also, and I need to add this, it's a bit sad, but it's one of the realities of life. If you have a family, like, you know, a spouse, if you're in your 50s, 60s, your kids have probably moved out, and you're there with your spouse. And if you have a good relationship with your spouse, that's great. And you can count yourself very lucky. And I really don't want to say this, but I guess we all understand that that can be taken away because people die. And if you suddenly find yourself as a widower, what's it called? Well, basically you left there without your spouse all of a sudden, you're going to feel so abandoned and lonely. And so please, you know, just try to find someone that you can have some kind of social interaction with. So that if that happens, and I hope that, well, eventually it will happen, you know, as people get older and older and older. Eventually we die, but I hope it won't happen until you're very, very old.
Okay, so that was Bjorn Bull-Hansen's video on why you shouldn't avoid people. So I, for the most part, completely disagree. Of course, he's entitled to his opinion. He seems like a nice guy, you know, but it's just kind of funny, like his video, he's doing it in a way that's really helping fuel the argument of why people want to avoid people. He's out in the middle of the wilderness walking alone, and he laid out a lot of the reasons I laid out why I just don't want to bother with people. But what does that mean, I avoid people? I didn't say, you know, I built a little log cabin out in the middle of, you know, northern Quebec in Canada in the woods, and all I do is drink maple syrup and sit in the, you know, and no, like, of course, with my life, with my work, with everything, I have some social interaction, but I'm very, very astute at really keeping everyone at a distance, trying to avoid stuff as much as I can. Seems like a nice fellow, though. You know, his channel's doing very well, and for that, I'm quite happy for his success. As a YouTuber, he's doing quite well, so I'm very happy for him. YouTube it's very worthwhile for the creative side of you, but it is a little more difficult now than it was a few years back, but it's all good. But I appreciate him having his opinion. I completely disagree with pretty well everything he said, but you know, we live in a world where now people can't agree to disagree. He and I can agree to disagree. Hell, I don't know if I'm ever going to be, I'm not sure what country he's from. I'm going to guess it's Norway, Sweden, or Finland. I think I'm leaning more towards Norway. But if I was there and we want to go see, you know, some black metal band, you know, have a meal, maybe grab a workout, I might do that with Bjorn. But would he chicken out when it came to leg day, if it was a leg workout? Which a lot of people do, folks. So what do you guys think? That is my opinion on his video. That's my take on it. And let me know in the comments as always. And this is Bryan, signing off.